Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rooted Coop channel. Today we're going to be making some Jewelweed infused soap. In my jar here I have some olive oil that I infused with some Jewelweed plant. And I'm just going to start by measuring the oils all together. Going to be pouring 16 ounces of the Jewelweed infused olive oil into my container. This is some Jewelweed that I harvested locally, and after picking the Jewelweed, I washed and cleaned it, let it dry, and then I cut the stems into smaller pieces and placed into the jars with olive oil, and then I let it sit in a hot bath to allow the jewelweed to infuse into the olive oil. I'm now adding in 8 ounces of sunflower oil. And next, we're going to add some coconut oil into our soap base here. Going to be using 6 ounces of coconut. I had already prepared my lye water solution and I have it cooling, so it'll be ready for us in just a moment. And I'm going to add 2 ounces of castor oil to make this a little bit more bubbly. And then that's going to be the oil base that we're going to be using. I'm going to use essential oil in this recipe as well. I'm going to have a blend of tea tree, peppermint, lavender, and some cedarwood essential oil. I went ahead and added some goat milk powder into this oil as well because I thought the creaminess and the nourishing factors of the goat milk would be wonderful, especially with the other benefits that Jewelweed provides. So right now I've just got my oil and I'm just using my stick blender to incorporate that goat milk powder into the oil, as well as break up the coconut and get it all kind of blended together before we start. Jewelweed is known for its soothing properties, especially against skin irritations like poison ivy. It can soothe and heal, particularly treating irritations and conditions such as poison ivy. It's known to be anti-inflammatory, so it's very useful to reduce redness and swelling associated with various skin conditions. It's got antimicrobial effects, so it can cleanse and protect the skin from infection. It's commonly used to treat rashes and insect bites and other minor skin irritations, and it can help soothe the skin and reduce discomfort. It's a preventative measure for poison ivy, but it can also be used for daily skincare. It's a natural remedy for eczema and psoriasis because of its soothing anti-inflammatory properties. It can be very beneficial to those with eczema or psoriasis, and it can help calm the flare-ups and moisturize the skin. And you would use it just like any other soap for washing of hands, face, body. You may want to let the lather of the soap sit on the affected area for just a few moments before rinsing to allow more of the benefits to have time to work. And I've got everything. I'm just blending it together. And I had made this, not this particular recipe. I'd used a different recipe. So this is my first time with this recipe. but I'd made this before and I remember that it became very hard to cut. So I'm going to try unmolding a little bit sooner than I normally would, just so I can uh, cut this more easily. But right now I'm just blending everything together to bring it to a nice trace. All right, I'm going to be pouring this into the mold, and then I'm just going to let it sit for about 4 hours and then come back and do the cut on it. With some of the extra oil that I had infused, I went ahead and made a salve to go with this as well. So Jewelweed is very versatile on the different products that you can make with it. It's very beneficial. Just going to scrape it all out and get it into the mold here. All right, we'll let this sit for, again, about 3 to 4 hours, and then I'll come back and see if it's ready to cut. All right, and this is what it looked like after, I believe it was about 4 hours. And so I wanted to go ahead and do the cut while it was still soft. The jewel weed for me has usually hardened up rather hard, and so I wanted to go ahead and get it out of the mold and get it cut so that way I would be able to cut it with my cutter. Uh, I'm always able to get better straight lines with my cutter than trying to do it by hand. Those that are able to do it by hand, I applaud you because mine are always crooked. So I definitely prefer to use the cutter just because it gives me a good straight line. It is a little on the soft side, so I'm having to be very careful about unmolding it. And I probably should have went ahead and just let it set for another 3 or 4 hours and then come back and tried it. I think that probably would have worked out perfect, but I went ahead and proceeded onward since I was already set up and doing this. I went ahead and done it just because I wasn't quite sure how hard it would be. Here we go. Here's what the cut looks like and what the bars look like. Again, they are very soft at this stage, but they will harden up and turn into beautiful, nourishing jewelweed soap. Just having to be really careful about getting it off of the cutter, and then I wanted to separate them out so that they didn't stick together. And so I'm trying to do this and not make a complete mess of it, but and here's what the finished jewelry looks like. Like I say, this is about 4 hours after I made it. Um, Here's the salves that I also made. I'm going to show those as well. I think those are going to be wonderfully soothing for different skin conditions, being summertime and poison ivy and the mosquito bites and all of that good stuff. So I think it'll be wonderful for the skin. And here's what it looks like. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video and hopefully gained something out of it. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to Rooted Coop. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our new videos.